Okay, my name's Cathy Herbert, and I'm the Director of Training and Enablement at Metalogix. Prior to Metalogix, I worked at EMC for 23 years in a variety of roles and really got an understanding of what you need to enable partners and your own employees to have valuable conversations with their customers. So I just put up this definition, and it's by Forrester, and I think it's a really good one, and it talks about what the Charter of Sales Enablement is, which is what my main focus is. And that's to make sure that anybody that's client-facing, whether it be an employee, I added a partner in there, can have valuable conversations with your customer throughout the entire sales cycle. So that's what we're trying to do with this system, is to make sure that whether you're a partner or an employee, that you're equipped to have those kinds of valuable conversations. I want to speak a little bit about the changing of the software industry. This is one of the reasons why I adopted the open edX approach, even though it's not widely used by corporations yet. There are three main things that I see happening. One is that deployment resources are global. I mean, even in my previous job, I spent a lot of time offshore, making sure that some of our system integrator outsourcers had the knowledge to effectively deploy our systems. So I knew I had to have something that would be truly global in nature, 24/7, give the people the right information when they needed it at the right time, in the right chunks. So the other thing are cloud applications. I mean, you think about it, you had on-prem applications that companies were deploying. But with an on-prem application, you'd have maybe one major software release a year, because it took companies a long time to do all the testing they needed to do to make sure that when someone was going to deploy it in on-prem, they had taken into consideration all these environmental variables. When you look at what cloud applications do, they don't have to worry about the environmental variables anymore. So you're going to see features coming out much more quickly, which means the learning management system needs to be much more adaptable to do updates on a much more frequent basis. And the final thing is that I think companies are really truly understanding that long-term longevity in the market means that you've got informed partners, informed customers, happy customers, customers that can get the software deployed. Those are the ones that are going to buy the software back. So I think that there is a move to more openly available free training. So when I went to Metalogix, it's actually one of my old bosses that brought me over, and the first thing he said to me is, look, we really believe that we want all of our partners and all of our customers to have access to training, and it's not a cost center for us. So that was really important for me. I mean, eventually I think that there potentially would be some revenue in the certification process when you certify people, but for now what we want to do is take our training, let it empower as many people out there who can be empowered to go be successful in deploying our technology. So from a business requirements perspective, there were a few things that I was looking for. One is I really like the 3 to 7 minute module. The shorter learning components. I mean, my background is enterprise content management, and when we did component level management, it just there was so much more that we could do with the technology. I look at learning the same way. So now if you look at, I've got to change my training. Maybe I've got a little 3 or 4 minute snippet that I'll show you later on how we view the competition. That may change next month. I don't have to go change an hour-long session. I'm just going into the competitive piece and I'm making updates to that. So it's really important to have the modular training. 24/7 access. We don't have localized content yet. I think that's someplace that we will need to go sooner rather than later. Blended learning. We're kind of experimenting with that right now. We set up some Skype sessions. Our old training that we did at Metalogix was a set time. It was instructor-led. It was instructor-led training, online instructor-led training. So we did have interaction with the customer base, but we were only serving the geography that was being done in. And I felt like it was really important when we put out the on-demand training to try and figure out what's the best way to continue to interact with the students throughout the class. So although we started with Skype for Business, Some of the classes, since they're brand new, don't get a lot of people showing up for the Ask the Instructor sessions. So I may look to do Yammer for a little bit, you know, and do some other chat kind of things to really optimize my product manager's times. Sales competitions. So one thing you'll find about sales organizations, they tend to be fairly competitive, and you know, we have enterprise salespeople, but we also have, you know, kind of the 25 to 30-year-olds that are sitting at a sales desk. And what we've tried to do with them is, and I want to do peer review, but I'm trying to do practice your craft, right? Because, you know, I heard someone from Miller Hyman say one day, you don't practice till you get it right. You need to practice till you're never going to get it wrong. So one of the things that my CEO had said to me is, you know, I'm not sure everybody's got the elevator pitch. Well, how fundamental is that? So this is the kind of platform that gave me the ability to put an assignment out there that said to a bunch of 25-year-olds, give me an audio, I don't care how you create it, give me an MP3 file, and submit it back of the elevator pitch, and then we can assess how effective you would be on the phone with a customer with the elevator pitch. The important thing about that is you're really encouraging people to practice their craft, right? And it's not about, within sales, it's not about being able to answer all the questions at the end of the test. It's being able to execute in front of the customer at the stage you're at in the sales cycle. So we're playing with that. So that was a key requirement for me, and a big reason why I picked this platform. So again, I talked about we need to support all the stages in the sales cycle. So we have sales training, technical training, and I want to get to the point where we have advanced technical certification, really badged kind of stuff. So I want you to be able to come back and show us that you were able to do a major migration. And so we'll have more lab type environments, but we don't have that yet. The other key thing for me, and this has been one of my challenges that we're working through, is reporting. So, you know, we report trends, trend analysis, what's the growth in partners taking training, what's your growth in, what's the adoption of different products. So we do a lot of reporting. That was a key requirement of mine. And then an agile environment was really important, easy to update. Again, the impact of cloud applications where I might need monthly releases rather than annual releases. So why open edX? Okay, so the $50,000 question is, you know, for me was, why risk your career on open source software, you know, that wasn't initially designed for corporate training? You know, if you know me, I came from a startup. I was the 17th employee of a startup with really cool technology. So really cool technology excites me. And you know, to be honest, to know it would really work for me, I went out and I loaded it in Azure. I also loaded it in Amazon. I wanted to understand the stability of the platform, and I built some sample classes, and I thought, wow, this stuff is cool. And I could do some stuff with this technology that has never been done before. So to me, it was really exciting. So what was important to me was an intuitive user interface, which I had taken some classes on edX.org. Flexible assessments, we talked about that a little bit, labs and homework, and being able to do things differently than we've done them before. Modular learning, and the architecture that supports a global user environment. But I also needed references, right? I had to sell our executive staff on why we were going to do this and how we were going to do this and what it was going to look like. So in addition to my testing and edX.org being just a great reference, right? I also pointed to companies like, in my industry, like McKinsey, J&J, Pivotal. While working at EDS, I worked at EDS too. While working at EMC, that was right out of college. While working at EMC, I had heard someone right before I left the company talk about MOOCs being, the third platform of education and how important that they were. So, I knew that directionally this was the right direction I needed to go. Then Microsoft started rolling out courseware on edX. So any of the naysayers that thought I was crazy sort of started to come on board with the vision of what I was trying to do. And then I created a demo and put a video of the CEO in there. So that went over pretty well. So once I decided that this was a platform and I got enough buy-in to move forward, I needed the right partner. I ended up working with Nate and team at Epsom Blur. They've been great. As you know, this isn't designed for corporate use, so of course there were some things that I absolutely had to have to get it deployed in a really short time frame. And we're talking about, we deployed in a few months, and I've got 16 classes live. So we had a really quick development cycle. So some of the things that we've done, and I'm going to talk about in a little more detail, is it became very obvious to me that from a registration perspective, I need to support partners, employees, and customers. But I don't want my customers to know I'm putting out sales training for my partners. I want my employees to have access to everything, so I needed a really great way to oversee the registration, that the right users get the right content at the right time. And so we ended up doing an integration to Salesforce, which has worked out tremendously well for us. And then we'll be working with Nate on some enhanced reporting. We want Microsoft Office 365, single sign-on. I've got some large partners starting to look at our classes saying, hey, we want to roll this out to the rest of our organization. So we may have some sub-branded sites coming in the future. And we've talked to Nate a little bit about mobile access. I mean, part of my vision is that, a sales rep is standing outside a customer and they wish they had that sales manager in their back, or the product manager in their back pocket to give them the speech on, what's the business value to the solution? Or what are the qualifying questions you need to be going in on? So the fact that you've got 3 to 5 minute modules you could access from, a tablet or a cell phone and just say, give me a refresher on the way of the meeting on how I ask qualifying questions. I think it would be a huge benefit to the business. Am I going too fast? Are you guys all good? Okay, good. So from Metalogix Academy perspective, we launched August 31st, and we have 16 courses, sales and technical fundamentals. I've got 350 users, but I think what's interesting is in the last month, we've increased our user base by 150 users. There's another marketing email going out today. I expect it to grow pretty virally from here on out. So I looked this morning, I just looked and I've got, right before I got up here, and we're up to 425 registrations, right? So, I see this thing growing pretty quickly. So I talked a little bit about the automated registration with Salesforce, and so my employees get access to everything. My partners get access to sales training and technical training. My customers just get access to technical training. How do I manage that? I think Epsom Blur came up with a really slick solution for me. Basically, when I go create a class, you can't see it very well. I just took a screenshot, but you can select from multiple categories. Who's this class applicable? So that's really all I have to do is pick who the class is applicable to. From an automated registration perspective, I gave Epsom Blur, kind of here are my business roles, right? I want to be inclusive, not exclusive in my training. So anybody who has an email domain that's listed as a partner or a customer in Salesforce gets access, right? You could be more restrictive and you could say they have to be, they have to be a contact in Salesforce. I didn't want to do that because I really think that education can be a catalyst to really grow companies. So we're just checking domains at this point. If somebody comes in with a Hotmail, a Gmail, a Yahoo, any other domain that's, their private email, they get a message back and say, please use a corporate email. I have had reps come to me and say, you need to let this guy in and here's why, with a private email. So we'll do that manually, but it's not an automated process. Competitors, right, they're going to get turned away, and any domain that's not in Salesforce. So what really worked for me was within the account tab within our Salesforce organization, we were already tracking email domains and company websites. So they're not all there. I mean, I think all of my partners are there. I've got about 3/4 of the customers in there. So if someone doesn't get in automatically, I just go into Salesforce and make the appropriate updates. So over time, my Salesforce system, will be able to pretty much capture anything that comes in. So that's pretty exciting, and that really helped us. That's helping us get to the growth that we're looking for. So from a sales execution perspective, the sales training is all brand new. It didn't exist before, or it did exist, but it were these 1.5-hour long sessions with a lot of dead time in the middle that no one would ever go back and watch a second time. In fact, they were kind of hard to get through the first time. I know, because I did it. So we really went in and we cut them down into chunks that really made sense. And like I said before, if my vision is that, these are the key things that you need to know on every sales opportunity, I want you to know where it is to go get it, be able to go back and not have this training as a one-time training, have it as a resource that you can use, that you can continually use. So from a reporting perspective, it's really important to track performance by class. So we don't have a lot of, we have some fails, we've got some passes, we get a lot registered. So one of our challenges is going to be figuring out how to get, and I apologize, the colors don't really show you that much on there. But what we found is that when the VP of Sales goes in and says to the organization, you will take this, they take it. We're starting to see partners sign up and go all the way through some of our key classes. Some of our other classes we're not seeing uplift. But it's really important for me to know what the performance is by class. I need to be able to tell support, if a particular partner is calling in all the time and they don't seem to know what they're doing, did they take training, right? So I work very integrally with the rest of the organization to make sure that they've got the knowledge they need to have constructive conversations with our customers and partners. Okay, last slide. So, if I really look at the vision, is that it's really, really fundamentally important that we equip our sales organizations to have valuable conversations. And the one thing I didn't hit on in the onboarding practice, as we bring on new people all the time, and so we're also putting some onboarding classes to make sure that they have everything they need to have those valuable conversations even faster. An agile system that can be updated to support the rapid development that we see and the enhancements in the cloud environment. 100%, what do I have here? Oh, thousands of partners, right? The dream is to have lots of people hitting the system and getting through classes. Peer grading is something that we're looking to do more long-term, and I have my glasses on, and streamline the whole onboarding process so that we can bring the right people on and make them effective as quickly as possible. Questions? I hope there are questions. Yes?
So do you consider any other LMS system before you choose Competency?
If you were my boss, I'd have to tell you yes, but not really. I mean, when I came over here, when my boss called me up and said, my current boss, and said, look, Cathy, I've got this opportunity, We don't have an LMS that's working. You get to pick your LMS. You get to follow your vision. You get to do what you want, sort of. I mean, that's kind of what he said. I had been an edX user, and I just loved the user interface. And, you know, I just feel like if you don't have a user interface that are going to delight your users, it's not going to go anywhere. And so I had pretty much decided, I mean, we looked a little at, I mean, I had been a Saba user, my new Moogle was out there, I looked at a lot of other systems, but I wasn't really open to doing anything but this because I was pretty bullish. Yeah?
Was the content something you created for this new platform or something that you repurposed?
Most of it was repurposed. And some of it was new. And just to share that experience with you, so if we go into the sales training, we didn't have any sales training, but we had done live sales training where we had the guy in the camera in the back who videotaped everything. So we were able to go in and take some of that and chunk it up and make sure that it was still valuable and put it in the system and add questions and things we needed to do. With the product managers, we had training that they had created technical training that every week they would get online and they would do a session, but they were very interactive. So some of that content had to be recreated. For our primary product, and it's actually our course that's getting the most uplift, the product manager got really excited about the technology and he redid the entire course. And he came back to me and he said, what I was teaching in the old format that was taking an hour, I've got down to about 20 minutes because he was really able to focus what he was doing. And it is probably one of our best classes out there, and it is the one that people are finishing. So I think there's value to our customers in redoing. I think we're going to redo stuff over time, but there's value to that. Yes?
Is there a loop for participants, whether they be the Salesforce or your customers, to be able to add assets or something to the learning process?
We've opened up discussions, but I haven't seen any uptake in those. And I know in some of the classes that I've taken, part of the assignment would be to engage in a discussion. And so I think that's going to be an important thing. We haven't gotten a lot of content coming in, but I have embedded some Microsoft content in our onboarding training because we sell products on top of Microsoft products, and I want to make sure that my sales team kind of hears directly from Microsoft on, you know, here's what this platform does, and that, you know, they've got consistent messaging. Yeah.
Have you done any competency-based plan? You know, when your Salesforce, you know, you want that they acquire some competency and you want to make a plan toward their mastering of competency. Have you made any work toward this goal?
I think that's in our next, you know, I think that's really where we're heading. We really try and bring people in and up-level them. So, you know, starting as a biz dev guy and then being a territory manager and then being an enterprise account manager. So I have had talks with our VP of sales on what that means. So, you know, if you're level 1, what do you need versus level 2 versus level 3 with curriculum paths and competency. You know, the other thing we might do at some point, which I've done at a lot of other companies, I'm trying to get away from, but, you know, we bring people in and we do a mock sales, right? Mm-hmm. That, you know, I'm going to be your customer and you're going to sell to me and then we're going to have a conversation with how you did. I think with a system like this, they can do more of it on their own up front, and then when you go in and they present to you, they've already, you know, potentially done a homework assignment where they had to do it at least once before they got up.
What sorts of unforeseen technical issues will deal with partners during the rollout? And how did you deal with those?
Technical issues.
Yeah, it's like thinking back to like getting your content in there. Was there anything, any notches that sort of became apparent as your adoption sort of matured?
Oh, I had to do a lot of, trying to make sure the content was as secure as it needed to be. If you're putting it out on YouTube and
So access control?
access control. What if someone gets a link? What if our competitors get it? I mean, there was a lot of internal dialogue. So, I looked at a lot of different ways to really minimize the risk on our content. So that was probably something I spent a lot of time on, and just making sure that the videos were playing in all geographies quickly. They stream, yeah.
Isn't data privacy a concern for the enterprise, especially assessments and scores and outcomes?
It is. So that is one of the other areas.
Okay with it being on the cloud?
That's not been an issue. No. I think someone back here has had his hand up.
What's your average cohort size for your courses? And what is the completion rate so far? Like, what has been your completion rate average?
To go back to that slide.
Okay, maybe I missed it.
Yeah. So we're only out a month, and I have 20 people that have passed my key technical class, and I'd have to look. I think we've got 60 that have registered, so that's not bad. And one of the things I'd like to have more insight into is where somebody is in the course and whether they've stopped taking the course. I mean, if you ask me what my wish list would be, it would be, because I started putting questions throughout the course so I could see where they were that way, but if the test is at the end, you have no way of knowing kind of where they are. Okay, I have 2 more questions, or 2 minutes. 2 minutes? Okay.
I don't know if you want to answer this question. I want to know, what is your cost per month to maintain this kind of system? If you want to sell this thing,
It's been unbelievably reasonable, and that's the other reason why this platform made sense. I mean, Nate can maybe speak to that because he's my hosting vendor. But when I went to the board and said, here's what I'm looking to do and here's what it's going to cost you, they were like, you think it?
After the deployment, is there month-to-month cost?
Yeah, it's month-to-month, paid annually is for the hosting fee, and then we have incurred some other costs with the Salesforce integration, which hopefully, other customers, Nate said, are interested in using that. So, and I think we'll probably have some investment in what I'm trying to do with the reporting side, but it's very reasonable. It was about half of what our previous solution was. Yeah.
How about peer grading? Peer grading in a university setting is difficult. Have you seen some experience going on there somewhere on, on business side of peer grading for Salesforce?
We haven't done it yet. I actually think with our sales tables, it may work pretty effectively because they play a game sometimes called Survivor. And who makes it on or off the table. So I think they're young enough, they're competitive enough, for them it would work. Peer grading with our partners, that, it would have to be within a company. Like if I'm working with, an Accenture, an Avanade or Wipro, if I set it up for them, but it could not be cross-partner from my perspective at this point. Yeah.
How do you handle the fact that if you use YouTube, your videos will be publicly available to anyone?
Oh.
Is it a concern for the partners or stuff?
No, because the registration only allows in people that we want in the system.
Yeah, but apart from the registration, people will just get directed to YouTube and get the material, incorporate training programs with material. One day.
How did you secure the?
You secure the video delivery.
Yeah, I'm using Amazon S3 right now, and I was able to set that up from a secure perspective so that only OpenEDX could access that content. I'm also looking at seeing if I can do the same thing with Azure, right? So, but that's what I ended up doing. Okay, I think I'm done with questions. I'll hang out in the hallway if anybody's got anything else they want to ask, but I want to thank you guys.